So hello everybody and welcome to the 11th installment of the Responsible Region Dialogue. We are very proud because we are working in that since 1 year now, Giacomo, or we are starting in October, 1 year.
Yeah.
This is a monthly meeting that we organize between experts on regional development and academics in the framework of the SWOT 14 projects, where we discuss how to have better regional development strategy, namely smart specialization strategies. I am sorry because today I'm connecting with the mobile phone, but I am going to switch very soon because I have an old computer. We should very switch to the computer. Let me give you an idea of the rules of participation. First, when you enter, your microphone switch off. However, you could use the comments section, and as well, I will be pleased to give you the word and to discuss, because the purpose here is to have an inspiring presentation from one specialist on regional economic development. Then we will have a panelist to tell us what she thinks, and then later we will have an open dialogue. Before that, and I would like to tell you and to inform what Giacomo says to you, that we are recording this dialogue because in some cases, and I found that we say things that are very relevant and we want to come back, and it's very easy to come back because it will be published in YouTube, in the channel of the Territoria project. It's an Horizon 2020 project that is supporting these activities. I remember that I have seen many times the first one that we organized with Bruno Lindorfer from the Regional Development Agency from Business Upper Austria, in order to learn how is the regional smart specialization, or Dimitri Korpakis, who was one of the panelists and spoke and gave us a lot of insight about responsible regions. So you will be recorded and probably seen many times. And as well, my colleagues will make a summary of what we are going to say in general, in order for the people that are participating in this meeting to have a writing document together with the slides. So the program for today is a smart specialization strategy outside of the European Union. We have many questions, and we will have a presentation of around 20 minutes from Elif. Then we will open a short for big questions and questions that you may have in that moment. Then we will have a contribution from Nalance Sergerac from BEPCA, the development agency from Bursa. And then we will open the dialogue, which is the main purpose, to have an inspiration and then to talk about whatever we consider that is relevant for the smart specialization strategy. Well, Elif is an expert, is a planning specialist, an expert from OCA. OCA is the development agency from Middle Black Sea, a very important member for EURADA, I must say. During many years, they have been members of the executive committee and one of the vice president of EURADA, with a lot of contribution, because at the end, EURADA is a meeting point, a community of regional practice. And I must say that OCA has been one of the most generous contributors to this common history that we are having, all the experts on regional economic development of Europe. So I take profit to say thank you to all the people that has contributed. Let me give you a brief introduction for Elif. She is a urban planner by training, and she has been made her bachelor and a master on policy planning and local government. As well, she made an Erasmus stay in the Politecnico de Milano in the same field. Then, after her finishing her studies, she went to Ankara, where she worked as urban planner as well as a software test engineer. Luckily, we recovered her for Samsung, and then she was starting to work as a specialist on the Regional Development Agency of Samsung, and is our contact point for European things. So Elif, thank you very much, and thank you as well to Ibrahim Efensahin, the Secretary General of OCA, for your continuous support to all the activities of URAD, and as I said, to your generous contribution. We would like to learn from you, and the word is for you, how is your smart specialization, your regional strategies, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for your kind words, Esteban. Actually, I want to start my presentation with presenting myself.
Okay.
But that part is taken care of by you, I guess. So maybe it will be appropriate to share screen and start my presentation. Is there any problem about screen sharing? Can you all see the screen?
Okay. Yes, we see it. Fully maximized, thank you.
As Esteban mentioned before, I'm working for OCA like 4 years, and I'm an urban planner in planning, programming, and coordination department. And now I will present our TR83 Smart Specialisation Technology in focus of participatory practices. And now I want to mention the content of the presentation a little bit. First of all, I want to mention our region, Middle Black Sea, and about our agency, Regional Development Agency, about OCA a little bit, a brief information. And then I want to explain Regional Innovation Strategy and Smart Specialization Strategy, which I will be mentioning 3S from now on. So to start with our region, Middle Black Sea region, and it is also named TR83 region, according to NUTS 2 classification, composes 4 cities, Amasya, Çorum, Samsun, and Tokat, and it is located in the northern part of Turkey, and 2.8 citizens inhabits in our region. And TR83 region produces 2.13% of Turkey's GDP, and it is ranking among 26 regions is 11. And you can see the key components of logistic and intellectual assets of our region in the screen. There are 5 universities educating more than 100K students in their 78 academic units, and they are promoting research and innovation in the region. With its 4 ports and also the logistics center, and which is also built by OCA's contribution. Our region is the logistic hub of the northern Turkey. And agriculture, food processing, alternative tourism, and machinery is the key sectors in our region. And you can see some of the main statistics about Middle Black Sea in the screen. Our region covers 4.9% of Turkish territory, and the population density is 77.25. And GDP per capita in 2019 is approximately 6.1. And you can see the dominance of service industry in the GDP. And in addition to the port and logistics centers, as I mentioned before, there are 18 organized industrial zones, 3 airports, and also a free zone. And I want to explain our development agency a little bit, as I mentioned before. Our agency is established in 2009, and it is a regional public body. Now, 45 employees are working for OCA, and our main duties defined in the founding declaration are supporting economic, social, cultural development of the region, implementing and supporting projects, and coordinating relevant stakeholders of the region. And since our establishment in 2009, we financially supported 963 projects and bring in 930 million Turkish liras investment to the region. And besides, we pursue other activities as well in some specific sectors: cultural and natural, alternative tourism, health industry, high value added production, and also exports are the main sectors OCA is focusing on, working on. And we are specifically canalizing our financial and intellectual resources on these areas. And also we are working on social innovation since 2018, I guess. OCA organized some international events about the issue and also took part as strategic partners in networking projects, take care about the social innovation network of the Turkey. And also we are trying to mentoring young social entrepreneurs in our region since then. In addition, we continue to do some capacity building activities via the technical assistance program and also by our experts working in OCA. We are trying to give project cycle management trainings and also planning trainings and Eurodesk trainings, which are about European opportunities for young people, disadvantaged young people. And these trainings are directly given by the OCA staff. For sure, all of our activities are based on some background strategies. On the left of the screen, you can see the Yeşilırmak Basin regional plan. It is the main strategical policy document of OCA. And it is a comprehensive regional plan. It is also consists of special and non-special analysis. And it is setting some long-term targets to OCA. And then in 2018, we prepare some sectoral action plans in 11 sectors for our 4 cities, Amasya, Çorum, Samsun, and Tokat. In coordination of OCA, these sectoral plans are prepared by universities in cooperation with universities. And these plans are drawing roadmaps for respective stakeholders of a sector about what, how, and with whom to do this stuff. And as I will be explaining from the rest of my presentation, Smart Specialization Strategy is prepared, which is enabling OCA to focus on some strategic priorities, some niche sectors. So I would like to start explaining our Smart Specialization Strategy, 3S. The philosophy that OCA embraces is smart specialization is not about maximizing the value added, but not about developing trendy sectors of the time. We are trying to maximize the value added sector. So it is necessary to prioritize sectors have potential to create high value added and intervene in these sectors directly. So based on the regional innovation strategy prepared by OCA in 2013, we prepare our 3S, and it is aimed to be prepared by following global developments as well. And you can see the regional innovation ecosystem in the screen. It is a 4-legged innovation system, which is consisting of public sector, public institutions, and private sector, and educational institutions, mainly universities, and some intermediary institutions like NGOs and local and public other stakeholders. So, regional innovation ecosystem grows out of cooperation between these actors and the effective relationships between them. So Middle Black Sea regional ecosystem is connected with the national and global innovation systems as well. So in order to use innovation as an efficient tool for the development of TR83 region, and competitiveness of the region as well, it is important to share a common vision all the stakeholders are agreed upon and also determined through participation of and contribution of them, which we called public engagement, actually. And you can see the strategic goals of regional innovation strategy at the left part of the screen. The first strategic goal is increasing innovation performance of the private sector. And the second one is strengthening research and development activities and innovation infrastructure. And the last strategic goal is encouraging and disseminating social innovation, as I told before. Smart specialization is promotion of regional development based on competitive sectors, some niche sectors, as I said before. And our strategy is covering a review of regional assets, technical, natural, and intellectual assets. And it is a review of niche sectors. And also it consists of partnership and governance mechanisms implemented in the region, mostly by OCA. And our 3S is prepared in the scope of OCA project in long, increasing competitiveness of TR83 region project in scope of its technical assistant component, actually. And our strategy is one of the first comprehensively prepared smart specialization strategy in Turkey. I want to explain 3S's approach a little bit. It is really necessary to say it is a bottom-up approach, and it gives a great importance to SME and NGO engagement and field research. And also the uniqueness of our provinces, Amasya, Çorum, Samsun, and Tokat, is really given importance in the preparation of our 3S. And entrepreneurship take a really good place in our 3S, based with a focus on knowledge intensive jobs, technology jobs. And thus, the strategy is establishing niche areas and axes of development, defining them. You can see the approach in the screen right now, the field analysis approach. You can see how past, present, and future dynamics of the region are coming together in the smart specialization technology. You can see that a detailed asset mapping and SWOT analysis and pestle analysis is conducted in the process of S3. And also the necessary inputs are gathered by an extensive field research. And this is the methodology of our field research. First of all, 3 different target groups were identified, NGOs, stakeholders, and opinion leaders. And also we engage production companies and service companies in the process. In total, 2,060 SMEs, 40 organizations in 4 provinces are conducted a survey. And you can see the focuses of survey, the questions in the survey at the right part of the screen. The questions are about management, expectations, human resources, and so on. And the field research is not only consisting of the survey, also some face-to-face meetings with these target groups are done in the process. And likewise, the SWOT methodology is really participatory, as you can see. Some provincial meetings are held in our 4 provinces, and participants are representatives of public sector, NGOs, and private sectors. And lastly, you can see the pestle methodology on the screen. A large-scale pestle analysis workshop held in only Tokat at that time. And all segments of community from 4 provinces are represented in this workshop. Participants' agreement on the results are given great importance, and also it is triple-checked at meeting, via email, and also via the final report prepared by OCA. And finally, the sectors have been analyzed, the niche sectors have been analyzed based on the analysis that I mentioned before, PESTEL, SWOT, the surveys, and the face-to-face meetings. And uniqueness of the regions, provinces are given importance. So here is the pioneering niche sectors of our cities. For Amasya, tourism activities, alternative tourism activities. For Çorum, machine and equipment manufacturing, base metal industry. In Samsun, engineering activities, but mainly on technical tests, analysis, and computer programming. And lastly, for Tokat, manufacturing of food products. And these niche sectors will aim to increase competitiveness, contribute to other sectors indirectly, and contribute to growth and development of other sectors. And in a more general context, more regional context, 5 priority sectors are determined in 3S. 3 existing sectors are agro-foods, future engineering, and blue economy. And there are 2 emerging sectors are determined in the scope of 3S after the analysis. One of them is alternative tourism, and the other emerging sector is smart city. You can see I put a star in the future engineering because luckily Ministry of Science and Technology is at the same page with us about this issue, about future engineering. In 2019, they launched a vocational education as a common subject of 26 development agencies operating in Turkey to work upon through the year, through 2019. And in parallel with our smart specialization technology, we handle the issue in the scope of, in the view of future engineering. And we decided to improve the sector from its roots, from schools, vocational technical schools. So in 2019, we launched a vocational education grant program. And 25 projects are granted by this program. The target is vocational schools. And in the scope of their projects granted by the grant program established by OCA, they established their laboratories and purchased necessary equipment for more qualified education and so on. And projects subjects consists of some trending issues like STEM and coding. And I want to give some examples of these projects. This is Tokat Yeşilırmak Vocational High School. This project is written by them. And in scope of the project, they establish information and innovative technologies common use area. Is going to be used by their students to improve their skills. And they design mixed reality supported course content as well. And another example of these projects is Samsun Medical Device Technologies Vocational and Technical Anatolian High Schools project. In the scope of this project, they established their design application workshop. And also their project consists of a technical assistance component as well. They train their trainers, teachers, and also their students about CNC freeze techniques. So in summary, our smart specialization strategy is giving importance to engagement of all actors, including public sector, and it's aimed to intervene in niche sectors directly. As I mentioned before, as I explained before, our approach is really giving importance to public engagement. And also, in the light of our 3S, all of our activities, all of OCA's activities is giving importance to engagement of all sectors as well. On-spot interventions via our support mechanisms, both financial and technical. are conducted. And the best practice of this is the vocational education grants program. And also our investment support offices are always in the field. They are gathering data from the local community as well. And we try to engage this data, engage this knowledge to all of our studies done in the ground of OCA. And another example is that in our capacity building activities, we try to engage disadvantaged groups like youth, women, and children. And we don't want them to have these trainings on the roof of an NGO or another institution. They can apply by themselves in these trainings, in these programs. And in addition, OCA, our agency, is participating other institutions' activities as well, directly participating. To give an example, the two universities in Samsun are operating university cooperation councils right now. And our Secretary General is a member of these councils. He is contributing their work. And also, all departments of OCA are in direct connection with SMEs, NGOs, public sectors, via phone, via email, via face-to-face meeting, and so on. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, any comments, I will be glad to hear them.
Thank you, Elif, to you for the comprehensive presentation. Thank you very much. And I like very much what you said of vocational training and the purpose of that, because sometimes it's not so evident, the connection, while it's a way to be more inclusive in the strategies. And as well, what you said about capacity building and bringing in the stage and facilitating potential users of the grants or the programs that are normally not being used, and the way of engagement. I have a lot of questions. In particular, when I was preparing, I prepared a lot of questions, but you have answered many of them. Where about how you prioritize and as well what are your key priorities. I have a question very on the origins. I don't know if you could think about that. What is the origin of the OCA Recap project, and why you in Samsun decide to prepare a smart specialization strategy? Because for the regions inside of the European Union, it's compulsory. If the regions want to receive money from the structural fund, they have to present upfront a strategy. But you are more free. So you, in theory, you could choose, and you decide to choose this nightmare of engaging people and making the 250 interviews of SMEs that you said. My question is why you decide the smart specialization, and what you like it, what you consider that is something that is useful, what are the lessons learned for other regions there?
Okay, so as I mentioned before, our main policy document is a regional planning document, and you must see the height of it. And it consists of a lot of issues, tourism and the other sectors and all of it. And our territory is really large. So we must focus our intellectual assets and also financial assets, some specific sectors. And we must engage the data directly gathered from public and all the sectors. So we must consider focusing on some specific targets, and the name of the project is increasing competitiveness. So the effort in preparing the 3S is that finding these sectors, the competitive ones, which are really agreed upon by all actors in the territory in TR83. So the main motivation behind the preparation of the strategy is that. Maybe our Secretary General want to add something, I don't know, but in my opinion, The main motivation behind the strategy is that.
Esteban, if you don't mind, I will just contribute to Elif's explanations. Yes, the story.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Our story of S3 strategy was started with an idea. Also, we get it from Yurada again. Our ex-Secretary General attended a meeting of Yurada, and there he learned S3, and he transferred S3 idea to our agency. As Elif said, we are looking to define our way. We have a region with many capacities, but we don't know where to focus. So preparing an S3 strategy at that time seems a good idea to define our target. Now in 2021, we know what to do in our region. We will focus more on tourism management. On the other hand, we will focus more on added value industry. So, and we know even the NACE codes, NACE codes of the potential industries in our region. So we are developing our prospective activities in terms of this strategy. So maybe this is the answer for your question.
Thank you, Secretary General. It's wonderful question. I will ask you later another question about the future. Considering that you are not forced to do that, what are your plans for the future? Because you know we are inside of the European Union, the second generation of the Smart Specialization Strategy. But I wonder, and this is a question where I want to initiate later the debate, how, from your point of view as a specialist with a very diverse point of view and profiting the background of Elif and your history, theme is what you consider, how you consider that we should plan the regional development strategies in the future. If you consider that it's good to make a second exercise, or we could do other things, because maybe we should reinvent ourselves. But it's a question that I have, and I always have this question. So what will be the future? But before that, let's go to Bebka. We have another member here, and then we will discuss about the future. We have an intervention of another development agency in Turkey that has developed as well, implemented a Smart Specialization Strategy. They are part of the Joint Research Center, the Smart Specialization Platform, and we would like to learn from your experience and to have your point of view about what is happening in Samsung in the TR83. Introduce you briefly, Nalan, and is Nalam Sensajir, sorry for the pronunciation of
That's fine.
Combines at the same time knowledge and training on regional development, but as well she's an environmental engineer. So something that is very, very, very important in the development now, in which the European Green Deal and the priorities. In fact, we are discussing, for example, with Japan. Japanese regions, and they have the same priority. Yeah, when she finished her studies in environmental engineering in Turkey, she went to USA. She continued there studying, and as well, she started to work there in biosolid and wastewater. Wastewater is something very relevant in the Mediterranean area. I come from the south of Europe. Later, she came back to Turkey, and she's working now for 10 years in Bebka. So thank you very much for your kind contribution to be here. We expect a reflection from your side about what you have heard until now, and then we initiate the debate about present and future.
Okay, thank you for this nice introduction. As you said, I'm an environmental engineer, and at the development agency, actually, I'm more focusing on sustainable production. But being here today, I was also a part of Smart Specialization Strategy planning process at BEPCA at the time. As you know, we had done our study about 2019, a couple of years back, and I forgot to mention, thanks for the presentation of Oka to Elif. It is very important to share experience and spread the word, because even though we are development agencies in Turkey, we do our work separately, and we can see similarities definitely, and there are some things that differentiate us. That's I guess, beautiness of that. Looking at Oka's presentation, see, there is one difference I realized. I checked their regional innovation strategy too. For example, at BEPCA, we didn't have an innovation strategy before the S3. Here they had at first they had done the innovation strategy, and then they could build on the S3 planning. And I can see here the preparation process outlined in the Intelligent Specialization Regional Innovation Strategies, known as RS3 of European Union. They suggest 6 stages, and it seems like Oka covered them at the time of this study. In S3 planning, the examination of innovation and R&D ecosystem, the capacity and potential of the region is very important, which was done truly in your study. And then the establishment of a governance structure is very important. As we could see, they had the participation very high. And I know that in their innovation strategy plan, they have a governance body, they have councils. And actually, that's one question that I had, if they had utilized these councils through the planning, because gathering those councils is very useful to check the status of the strategic plan and to see if there's a need for an update. Because, for example, sometimes there might be acceleration in some sectors, and sometimes there might be some issues that those sectors may be affected negatively, such as the pandemic that we had recently. We are still having this problem. So some sectors influenced by that. And also they determine the common goals and focus areas. But one thing that, when they selected priority sectors and subjects, differently in our study, we had the priority sectors, but we also determined some focus areas under those sectors, subsectors, to get into more details. Because you need to, when you talk about S3, I guess you need to focus on some specific products too. For example, when you say you are going to focus on tourism, what kind of tourism, you're going to focus on, so you can shape your action plan based on that. That's one thing that maybe should be worked on. And for the implementation stage, they have done really nice work about the vocational schools, and they have done really nice European Union projects. That's very important too. And one thing that I realized, they had also for monitoring, they had some performance indicators. And I'm wondering if they had checked those indicators and to see how they are doing on those indicators. And one thing I want to mention about S3, S3 is what they call it, entrepreneurial discovery process. You need to it's the core of these strategies. It points that this kind of strategy documents should have dynamic structure, and they shouldn't be maybe limited to some period, and they should be renewed all the time. That's one thing that I will really express here. That's one thing. And also they mentioned about social innovation. That's very nice, and that's one thing that maybe we sometimes miss, because we always focus on sectors, but social innovation is something that should focus on. That was very nice too. And as you, Esteban, mentioned, I'm wondering the future of those strategies. It's the same for us too, because we need to update ourselves, and then maybe come up with new action plans, what to do in future. That's all I guess I can say at this time.
It's a lot of questions for Elif. I was taking notes about the questions. So if you want, I could recall you governance, about how the priorities on tourists, what type of tourists, the indicators, the entrepreneurial discovery process, social innovation and future. So Elif, the word is yours, the floor is yours. Let's say. Thank you, Nadia.
First of all, I want to share screen once more to show you the governance of the strategy. Probably I forgot to add it to the presentation. As Nalan said, we have some consoles specifically, all the priority areas, the five sectors, 3 existing and 2 emerging, an executive director, and monitoring and evaluation team. And it is a fully structural and working system. But at that time, when the implementation time is coming, there will be some difficulties emerging. Actually, the monitoring and evaluation system of the S3 maybe can be a little bit developed, to be honest. And also about the question that which kind of strategies you are preparing under the sectors, which products are you focusing on? I want to give an example. For example, tourism is one of the sectors that I mentioned before, at the sectors of the emerging sectors. And in our working program, 2021 working program, we have a result-oriented program in our working plan. And we are specifically focusing on cultural and natural tourism. And why we decided to do this kind of stuff? Because the field say that. We have some really nice natural assets and also some cultural advantages. We have UNESCO sites. So this kind of data gathered from the field, we try to integrate these data gathering from the field under the sectors of the smart specialization, and then determine these kind of strategies, these kind of specific products, tourism products or industrial products. And to give another example, in our working plan 2021, we also have a result-oriented program about value-added production. And we are focusing on Çorum, for example, because as I mentioned before, Çorum is a prominent city, an important city in machinery sector. So this result-oriented program is focusing on, in the light of R3S, specifically in Çorum and machinery, and in Samsun, for example. Again, this result-oriented program is focusing on medical technologies, because we have a cluster in Samsun about medical technologies. So we are focusing on these kind of products under R3S, under the value-added production, the machinery. So maybe this kind of answer will be, I don't know.
Again, may I have the floor and add some words? Esteban, about your question for the future of S3 strategies, what will we do? Yes. I think in the future we have to discuss, or we have to focus on rather than sectors, but we have to focus on themes rather than sectors. I mean, we now here in Samsun we talk about machinery sector or medical devices sector or tourism, but for how to say it, in order to increase regional responsible innovation in our cities, in our regions, I think we have to focus more on themes like innovation, like digitalization, or let's say public engagement, or social responsibility or sustainability, these kind of themes. We need to focus on these kind of themes. Otherwise, if we talk about industrial sectors, we just deal with companies. But when we say a theme like this, let's say vocational education, then you include both students, some NGOs, and also the companies as well. So in order to, I think for the future, we have to this kind of expansion in S3 strategies. So we will try to do this in 2022, next year. We will change our organizational chart. We establish new units, and these units will focus on these kind of different themes. They will develop activities, and we will make our S3 strategy more concrete, more applicable, something like that.
Thank you very much for your vision, because we know that from freedom, in the sense that you have not the constraints of the decision that has been taken for connecting with the structural funds, and as well bring what we always are discussing this afternoon, which is the societal engagement in this type of policies beyond the companies. Because my impression is that we as development agencies has done a lot, in the sense that we are able now to be connected with companies. That was not so evident for us. It's not common, but the ones that we have some years, we remember how many kilometers with cars and events in order to engage them. The challenge now is to engage the whole territory, all the actors, and mainly the civil society. And still we don't know. This is what we discussed in these webinars. So, and your vision about themes is something that could make us to reflect well how to do that. So you imagine like challenge, no, something like sustainability, no, that Nalan was saying before, and or the sustainability connected with societal and vocational training, or tourists, or this type of thing. So thank you very much for your vision.
Another point I would like to mention is that about the funding, sustainable funding. As you know, regional development agencies in Turkey are young institutions. The oldest one is 15 years old. And when we established, we had some money coming from the central government, and we used this money for just subsidies to the companies, subsidies to the institutions. We just give grants. But now, in these years, we are looking for more long-term funding mechanism, new kind of funding mechanism, which we will be a part of the project. Project will earn some money, and the main money, the capital money, will return back to the agency. We are looking these kind of alternative funding mechanisms. Otherwise, the action plans will stay somewhere there. So if you don't have innovative funding tools, these action plans will be meaningless. So we will consider these constraints in Turkey, and we are trying to do our best.
This is another issue. What we call always is the co-finance. So is that the power, the public government be as a leader, but putting the seeds, and then coming there, the society. And to be honest, there are places with a lot of investment in R&D where we could find that, but there are many places in many territories that has a lot of difficulties to connect that. And for that, I think what Elif was saying, the governance is very relevant. So to bring the co-investor, the potential co-investor in the table to take the decision about the themes, the priorities, what is going to be done. And there is, because for you is evident, but not for the people outside of Turkey. So it's, and Nalan was making a reflection about that. So in the TR83, so you have 4 provinces, no? And and the governors of the province are part of the board there, no? Or the decision of the development agency, and as well the decision of the Smart Specialization Strategy. Could you explain us, even if for you is evident, how is the governance and how you engage as well other people that are not the public administration, the 4 pieces of the cakes that Elif were telling us, in order to learn from the governance, because I think it's in the basement of the strategy. Either Elif or Secretary General Sahin, or please could answer us. My question is about the governance. That for you is evident, but not for us. Is you have 4 provinces in your region, in your development region, but what is the role of the different governors? What is the role of the cities? How you put in the governing board of the development agency, and as well in the smart specialization, those other people? Who is your boss?
You mean the governor's role in the scheme that I showed before?
Yes.
Okay.
I think if I didn't understand, if I understand correctly, the role of the governors, yes, they are presenting their cities. They are the governors, and they are the directors of many other institutions in the city. Yes, they are in our board. They are making decisions altogether, but and the problems comes here. They are thinking of only for their cities. We don't have this regional perspective. So we need another definition of regional development in Turkey. I think this is because of the current situation, the politics, the current situation of economy, or something like that. That's some conjunctural kind of things. So we need to define. We are discussing this in the room with my colleagues. We have to define this regional development policy in Turkey again. With this management structure, it is so classical. It's something out of date. It doesn't work actually. So we have to define it with some other participants, or some kind of participative administration tools we need to use. I think this is my opinion.
Excuse me, because they are not a regional chamber or a president of the region. They are not. Oh yes, they do have.
Can I add something here?
Yes.
I definitely agree on the they think about the region. But one thing I want to mention, at our executive boards, not only the governors, we have the mayors of the cities. We have also the presence of Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So in our decisions, of course, they have a say to, especially when we are talking about industry, the presence of Chamber of Commerce and Industry, they have a say in our strategies and plans. And when, as Oka did, we have some councils that we can establish throughout the process. And then in this process, we not only the public institutions, we invite business associations. So we invite NGOs, even though governors at our board, when we talk about the participation, we invite everybody, all of the actors, stakeholders in our cities. That's one thing that I want to add.
Yeah, to me it sounds very similar to the way that Romania is organized, because they have counties which are smaller than you, but to the province. Yeah, it's smaller in population. Well, Romania is smaller than Turkey. However, they face the same problem, that there is not any regional structure that looks for the common interest. They have, I don't know if it is in Turkey the same, but the president of the development agency, which is the only institution of which is regional, change every year, and is the president of each county. So because they stay 1 year, you guarantee, because they are not going to stay a lot of time, that they look for the common interest a little bit, but they are not happy as well. They think that they should change a lot as well. And I think the governance is very relevant when we are talking about development. Who takes the decision? Who is accounted by for the future decisions about that? Okay, I don't know if you want. We have my colleague Roxana from Romania. I don't know if she wants to make a comment about that, or we go just directly to the general message. Roxana, do you want to say something about your country?
So far, I think that I don't have enough insight to comment on how it is organized, but I have studied at least the laws that were adopted following the entering of that were required by the EU for Romania to adopt on before our country joined the European Union. But I think that this regionalist concept is not very widely used in my country, because I think that mainly the specialists in the field are familiar with the regions, because I think that from an administrative and territorial perspective, the counties are, as you mentioned, are more popular than the regions themselves. I think it is some kind of a political measures that were adopted by the authorities in order to avoid certain political confrontation between the historical regions, and given the historical background of the country. And for example, I remember that the debate that existed when the former president Traian Băsescu wanted to introduce to give a more focus on the regions. It was a quite interesting debate in the country of whether the regions should be put in front. So that's what I wanted to say, and thank you to the Turkish.
Yeah, you should. In any case, I think the tendency is to, at least in many European Union countries, is for decentralization and to use the region as a governing body of the territories. In Romania, still, the election is for the counties, not for the regions, which is the similar entity as province in Turkey. And we could expect that this will continue. For example, to them, they have bring the maximum power that they could be done, which is to making them managing authorities. And the same happens as well in more developed countries. For example, in France, they have started another process of decentralization. They merge the regions, and now they are making them more autonomous in the way to manage the European fund, because France were very, very centralized, and similar processes are taking place in Italy as well to decentralize more and more the power of the region. So this is the idea, but in any case, I convinced that not the same recipe could fit all. So every country should decide how they organize accordingly with their history and the capacities. However, I am, because it's our role in EURADA, that we are convinced that the entities who are more connected with the companies and the civil society in a territory should be able to take the decision of their development, the priorities and the activities that will be implemented. I don't see any comment in the chat. I don't know if any of you want to say something more. If not, I will tell you some news about the responsible research and innovation community. So the first one, which is self-promotion, is about news, and I'm going to tell you that the project that is hosting these dialogues will finish in January. Probably we will continue with the dialogues because it's very satisfactory. But the project will organize on the 25th and 26th of January a final conference. We hope, we don't know, but we hope it will be hybrid conference being in Brussels. But yesterday they closed many of the things. And we will do the same as the structure of today. We will dedicate the first day in the afternoon to the next future, the current activities, as the presentation of Elif. And then we will have a debate on the second day about the future, and we will be dreamers there. We will are going to invite different people, and by the way, we invite Oka, so you know that you are part of third party of the project. If you want to come, we will have a bilateral meeting about that. If you want to come to, if it is possible, if the borders are open with the coronavirus, if you want to come to share your views about that, you will be more than welcome. Other news about the responsible regions and innovation things is that the European Philanthropic Conference is going to take place next year in Barcelona at the end of May and 1st of June. However, they are open the possibility to submit a proposal for a session in this big conference, and most of the topics are connected with the agenda for sustainable development that we have discussed today. Other issues connected with responsible research and innovation is that, as you know, there is a project called Cherries that is searching continuously solutions connected with the health, and Örebro, one of their territories in Sweden, is open to solution connected with elderly people that are alone in their homes. The deadline is the 25th of November. And this is what we call cascade funding. And speaking about cascade funding, I'm going to tell you good news. The Commission has specified a call in one project, a call that will be in an open call for proposal that will open in one month approximately. A system, a project with cascade funding to support regional authorities. So the winner of the project will have to support regions that will implement solutions on responsible research and innovation. Will not be a lot of money. So it's like cascade funding is seed money. So we are talking about thousands of euros, no tens of thousands, but it will be something that will be launched, and they have to support accordingly with the call 100 changes. So for those people who want to apply or not, for those people that will be beneficiaries, like the development agencies member of EURADA, so this is a good news because we will have someone that will help us to do that. The deadline for the project is the 20th of April 2022. So we are talking things that will come even in the other year, 2023, but it's something that is something that could be relevant. And speaking more about cascade finding, the project Mosaic is open a call until the 24th of November, just immediately, about how to engage citizens in connecting with sustainable finance. They will support those territories, regions that are engaging citizens connected with climate change and things like that, and they will be pleased to reinforce with the knowledge that they have in the project this type of initiative. And I am going to finish very quickly, but it's just the last announcement is that the 25th of November, the European Commission will finish the call for experts to be part of an expert group on gender issues connected with research and innovation. So as you know, one of the keys of responsible research and innovation is gender connect, open science, ethics, and they are the European Commission, the people that manage research programs are establishing a working group of experts on gender issues. By the way, a gender equality plan is requested for those public organizations, namely universities, that are going to take part in the calls for proposal of Horizon Europe. So it has been a pleasure to be with our Turkish members. Thank you to Oka, thank you to Elif, to the Secretary General Ibrahim Efren Sahim, with whom we have a very good contact since ever in EURADA, and thank you to Nalan Sensagir for being here to make so many difficult questions to Elif. So thank you, and Elif was answered very well. Thank you to all of you, and we see each other in 1 month, the third week of December, very close to the end of the year. So bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.
again.
Thank you, Esteban.
It was really good for us. Thank you so much. From my side, I personally learned many things about RRI with this territorial project, and it was a very good chance for us
Thank
to
you.
say some words and get your contribution and to see you even from the screen. It was wonderful. See you again. Bye-bye.
We see each other photos.
I hope
Sometimes
so.
I must tell you a secret is that sometimes I send you a photo in WhatsApp and say, how are you?
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. See you.
Thank you.